Janice, are you there?
At your service, sir.
What do we have today?
Uploading visuals, sir.
And then go to some dude's house, which is quiet guy because I can't remember his voice. All I remember is 2 hours of him pounding me like non-stop.
What? Former Escort says sex work is great now? Protect yourself at all times. Welcome to Mandatory Highlights Daily. I've said it many times on this channel. I don't have problems with pros. Matter of fact, I think they are essential and part of the ecosystem. But when pros are gonna say what you read in the title, then it becomes a men's issue and needs to be highlighted so you can be aware of it. Because the message is to protect yourself at all times. Now, before we get to the title, I want you to get into the mindset of this former escort so you can understand how problematic this is. We can't use the R word, so we will use this instead. So you are informed. The link to the full video is in the description because we had to leave some stuff out to protect the channel. Now it's time for us to get into this and do what we gotta do because we shit.
So, Genevieve, when were you first exposed to the idea of selling sex for money?
During my childhood, looking back and the last few years, as you do, I was exposed to...
This is where we protect the channel. She said she was exposed to prawn and people that were into the business of children. It's better not to talk about that business, but this part is important because she says this after it.
Of all things, I didn't know that accumulating all these things would lead me to make this choice, which is never a choice.
This is where I disagree. This mindset of her not making the choice to be an escort indicates that she is not taking responsibility for her actions. And we all know who will be held responsible for her suffering. We all know who will be the scapegoat for her bad decisions. We all know that in the end, it's all men's fault. No, we're not gonna do that. And that's why this needs to be highlighted and brought to our attention.
Yeah, childhood was tough because I didn't have a dad. And so, when I was 9, so apparently my dad, I do remember beautiful moments with him. Apparently I was the apple of his eye. I was the first child. And so when he left, then I didn't see any of him. And that has a huge impact on children, on girls especially. And so I was confused. Perhaps I didn't really know how to express myself from 9 years old when he left. But then when I woke up to, I don't have a dad, my mom's struggling, I was very angry. And so that led me to be really rebellious in many ways.
You cannot choose how you are born, where you are born, your gender, your parents, what kind of living conditions you end up in. To make a long story short, you cannot choose the hand you are dealt. We made a video about daddy issues, which basically are attachment issues or abandonment issues. Growing up without a father certainly increases your chances of becoming an escort, in addition to a list of other things you don't wish on your children. But this is not guaranteed. A difficult childhood and poor living conditions does not equal prostitution. Let's get into how she started.
Like Lincoln old car, fake leather seats, very flat, and I'm sitting there at the back of her car, and she tells me that she's done some sex, selling sex for money. So she told me about that, and she said if you're interested in making a bit of money, I had told her, I suppose, about my life, how poor of a student I was. But I didn't think much of it. It wasn't for me. I wasn't going to do it then. I was a very quiet, studious girl, young person. So that's how all the ideas were planted into us. So the more exposure you have, the more likely you will make that choice.
This is gold. As long as you're not forced to do something, it is your choice. Her friend clearly inspired her, but she did not put a blaster to her head and forced her to get into this industry. Mind you, she is well into adulthood at this point. She was 27 years old, not 17. She knew what was going on. She had 50 grand student loan debt. She needed money. Now pay attention because she moves from Canada to Australia on a scholarship.
So how did you find prostitution in Australia?
Well, I didn't think I would find it. It sort of found me again, because that's what happens.
Bullshit.
I thought that this time in Montreal, so the escorting, 2 months of escorting, earning $20,000 to save money to come to Australia. So in my head, no one would know about it.
So in your head, it was a Montreal thing and you kind of left it there when you came to Australia.
Yeah. Left it all there. It was going to be buried, a secret, as it is for many women. So difficult to share these experiences. I finished a 1-year program, which I had a grant for, so it was paid for. But I still had nothing ahead of me. I thought I need a job. I don't have many contacts. My English isn't that good. The job market is competitive, and at the time there were internet cafes. There's still a couple left there these days, but you can see like internet cafes. So I thought, I need to Google. I don't know if we call that this way, but I need to search if there's escorting here.
Excuses. The job market is competitive. Stop it. She had a taste of that easy money. 20 grand in 2 months. You're not going to find a job that pays you that kind of money. She was not interested in going back to the lifestyle of a poor student, but they were always telling themselves.
How many sexual partners would you have in a day?
Oh yeah, up to how many hours is there in a day, but how much can you do? Like it's exhausting, and so
what is it? How is it on your body and mentally having sex with so many people? And
it's a violation of your boundaries, which you decide that you're going to put up with just because you need the money. So, if you could wash dishes and make $200 per hour, you'd do the dishes. Everyone would be washing dishes.
This is pure gold. If she had the choice, keyword choice, between washing dishes, $8 an hour, or getting for $200 an hour, she just told you what choice she made. Life is not easy. Life is not fair. But life is what you make it. You will have to work with the hand you're dealt. Sometimes you will have to wash dishes to get where you want to be. The easy way out usually comes with a heavy price. This woman is interviewed because she violated her own boundaries for money, and now she's suffering from complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And this is where the title of this video comes in.
I'm supporting other women that went through the same situation. I am a sufferer of complex traumatic stress, and I live daily with that. And it's an adjustment. So most women may not know they have complex trauma, but that's a reality of repeated that is prostitution and sex work. It is coercion for money, for sex that you don't want to have.
One more clip.
I suffer from complex post-traumatic. I can tell you what it is in a daily life. It is triggering. Everything triggers you when you suffer from complex post-traumatic stress from being day in, day out.
You cannot call this grape. Words have meaning. Put some respect on the word grape. Janice, put it on the screen.
To force someone to have sex when they are unwilling, using violence or threatening behavior.
You cannot do this in conjunction with prostitution, where you offer the service of getting your back blown out in exchange for money. As long as your client abides by the agreements, there is no form of grape in question. This is why men are tired, because women are the first ones to say, my body, my choice. And when they don't like the choice they've made with their bodies, they want to backtrack and cry grape. And men have to pay for this shit. And this goes deeper than you think, fellas. These prenuptial agreements are thrown out because a woman can't claim she signed it under duress. An official agreement is terminated because of the way a woman feels. As men, we're not able to get away with this. And that's exactly why women do this, because they can. You hear nothing about that equality foolishness when we talk about these issues. This is the problem that we have with women: lack of accountability and unjustified disrespect towards men. Calling this grape is disrespectful to the men that getting in with crows, because you're indirectly calling them grapists. This way of thinking is a recipe for disaster, and therefore we call them agents of chaos. Manosphere, we work in. Protect yourself at all times, even if you're smashing a pro. This video has officially been highlighted.